Experts say when you combine those and other factors, you have a teacher shortage. House calls are one thing, but some worry what closing fire station number 3 would mean for the school right across the street. Deciding what to release is something they do carefully. After he concealed his gun, she says he disappeared between these two buildings. It happened fast, but she says she remembers exactly what he was wearing. They've been aggressively trying to get more airlines involved in this market. For now, it's just American Airlines right here. He says he looked over here, saw Jesus Cintura laying on the ground, clutching a baseball bat. The fight moved outside, and that's when the gunfire started.
Morning. We just have so much love for our young people. We just decide to do this.
4 hours a day, 5 days a week. Deacon Ed Butler, Pastor Frank McCullough, Bobo Smalls, and Nathan Brown start their day at Northridge Middle School.
Put on that happy face for the kids.
After directing traffic and greeting kids on their way into school, the 4 men walk the halls.
Make sure that it's not too noisy and the kids not acting up in class.
What's up, man? After Northridge, it's on to Southview Upper Elementary. They make time for kids in class before stopping by the refocus room. In there, they talk one-on-one with kids who have gotten into trouble for one reason or another.
They're willing to talk to us, if they have problems that they can't share with the teachers, with the parents. We also encourage the kids, to have faith in the policemen.
Danville's Director of Public Safety, Larry Thomason, gave Butler, McCullough, and Smalls a name that stuck: the 3 Kings of Peace. In the summer of 2016, Thomason and his officers joined them in peace marches up and down the streets of Danville. He supports their interest in helping the community and his department on a regular basis.
The officers recognize them, and when they see them show up, they know they can rely on their assistance, not to do law enforcement work, but to help calm a matter if that be the case, or at least provide some kind of assistance to the person who may be the victim.
Thomason knows violence is a problem in his city. In 2016 alone, there have been at least 14 reported shootings, killing 8 people, 3 of them under the age of 21. One of them was Nathan Brown's son.
He was on a friend's porch, and somebody shot him in the chest.
As one of the King's men, Brown says it's become his mission to show kids that there's always a better way to deal with your problems.
Try to find a way to get to the young ones now, before they grow up to, face that same similar path.
The morning ends at Danville High School. Since these students are closer to adulthood, the conversations are different and the issues more difficult.
The smaller kids, we have a more of a loving, compassion approach than we do at the high school there, so we got to be more firm.
As they wrap up another day at school, the men think of the hundreds of kids they've met, the ones they've gotten through to, those who need another talk, and the ones that drive them to be there.
I know if I had someone that did it for my son, maybe he'd still be alive today, So that's the way I look at it. I'm trying to stop the next parent from feeling the way I felt and still feel.
We were just hanging out on campus. Over there at the bar.
We were walking from one bar to the Red Lion.
That was just after 12:30 when Catherine Lawler's birthday celebration came to a startling halt.
Stop!
As gunshots ring out, dozens run for safety and police cars flood campus town.
I was with 11 other friends, and we all kind of just went our own ways because we were all panicked. Everyone on the streets was just running and, yelling, screaming, getting out of the way.
The lights came on and everyone has to leave.
Some who didn't hear the shots decided to follow the lights.
We didn't really think much of it, maybe somebody's just getting pulled over, people were fighting or something, but no.
Brandon Taylor and Patrick McQueen say their attitude changed when they saw a man whose face was covered in blood. They made their way to 3rd Street only to find out 4 people had been shot. Before the crime tape went up, they got a close enough look to see the man laying in this driveway, someone they grew up with.
I haven't seen him in years, and next thing you know, I see him on the ground with a bullet wound to his arm.
As officers tend to him, paramedics rush another person into an ambulance at 12:49. George Korchev was pronounced dead just after 1 a.m.
It's just unreal to see that it's happening so much more often nowadays.
Lawler says that's especially true when it happens at the place she called home for 8 semesters. Immediately after she heard the shots, she found comfort 19 floors up, watching the chaos unfold. Reflecting on what could have been, She says the fear and sorrow she felt is matched by humble relief.
I'm just so sorry, and I'm so thankful to God that I'm still here. It could have been anyone.
Yesterday's game could have been his last with the team, and it was certainly an emotional one.
There's always room for improvement.
These boys say they truly believe that after a season with 10 wins and 0 losses. They made the shots, but Coach Caleb Gossett called them.
I was just working at my reserve unit in Urbana, and I got a call saying, hey, we need a coach.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Don't let him set up. The 19-year-old says he was shocked, flattered, and excited. Since taking the job, he says he's tried to translate the values he practices in training to the basketball court.
I've tried to instill a little bit of discipline, respect, integrity, really. At this age, it's not really about basketball and winning. It's about becoming better young men.
In the back of their heads, they knew he might not be there to finish the season. Less than 2 months after the call to join the team, he got another call from the U.S. Army.
We were kind of hoping he would get it extended till January, and then he found out the week before Thanksgiving that wasn't going to be the case.
It was excitement, but it was also disappointment. I was a little bit upset, obviously, because we've grown close as a team. We've all really bonded.
It was very sad. We knew it was coming, but we didn't know when, so it was heartbreaking.
In what might be their last game with Coach Gossett, the boys played for a championship and for the man who brought them together. While they might be losing their head coach, the team says no one can take away the season they had together.
Coach has always been there with us, and we'll never forget him because he'll always be in our hearts and minds, and we'll always look back at him.
If there's a possibility I can come back, absolutely, I'll try and come back, but I know they'll be okay.
English teachers don't really get much honoring, you know.
In the case of Gretchen Grove and one former student, that's not the case.
Dr. Patterson? Yeah. I would like you to re-meet Gretchen.
As a late birthday present, Will Patterson was pleasantly surprised to see the teacher who helped turn his life around.
We've been looking for you. A long-lost English teacher.
Patterson says they met at a time when he was lost. After 4 years at Urbana High School, he spent nearly 2 years in prison. But living behind bars didn't strip him of his desire for an education.
I knew that, coming back home, that was going to be my #1 priority.
Patterson restarted life as a free man, taking classes at Parkland College. His wife, Lori, says he wrote her hundreds of letters when he was in prison. The messages were clear, but both agree his spelling and grammar needed a lot of work. That's where Grove could help.
I called every one of my classes Academic Survival English.
She was just so patient and just so calming that you believed that you could do anything.
Patterson only spent 1 semester at Parkland, but says her influence has guided him through a successful career. He went on to Loyola University in New Orleans and eventually got his PhD from the U of I, where he now teaches.
Without that skill set that you planted in me, there's just no way that I'll be accomplishing what I have accomplished today. Literally, there's no way.
A student remembered what I had taught and put it to such remarkably good use. He's got his own PhD. You don't do that if you can't write.
Nowadays, the 79-year-old lives in Corvallis, Oregon, and Patterson lives in Urbana with his wife and one of 3 kids. Even though they're nearly 2,000 miles apart, 30 years after that class, Patterson says she's always been with him. With tears in his eyes, he finally gets to say thank you to the woman who changed his life.
She has the same spirit, same presence, and
An old lady now.
Now, as you heard, this was a surprise. Patterson's wife worked with people at Parkland to track down his old teacher, and that wasn't easy. She was looking for a teacher named Gretchen, but her real name is Margaret Grove. So it took some digging, but as you can see, it all worked out.